So I was in the jungle, and they were taking care of me because I really got really weak. I couldn't get up for days. They brought me food, they took care of me, and so it's just like when you're in just such a gratitude because you're just like, damn, like, y'all don't have to do this, but you're doing it anyway. And it makes you just feel like, wow, when I get better, I'm going to make sure I do something for you. So when I got better, I started like, yeah, like sweeping their house, cleaning their house, doing their laundry. Sometimes I would make dinner for them, make food for them. But it was just that like selfless service, just being knowing that you're going to show up for whoever it is or that person, those people, because you've received something from them. But not only that, it's from your heart because you understand it's important to care. So, like, I would say those are some of the foundations of this work for me because, beyond all the medicine and all the spiritual things that we could talk about, you're really caring for people and you're taking care of them, and care and love and compassion, those things, what I received are some of the foundational things on top of the medicine and how to make it and all those things like that. So I started that way, of course, all of the other things happened, but that was like my process. It wasn't like, it's not like the rule book or the guide of how you become a medicine man. Like my journey is not that at all. It's very organic and very family like, very relationship like, very sweet. And it was like, questions and an answer. And if you said yes, then yes was like a yes that echoed for months, and they were just watching to see if you actually have devotion to the thing you say you're devoted to. Not necessarily because you're devoted to it, because you actually enjoy doing it. So whatever you enjoy doing it, you won't mind doing it over and over again. So it's kind of like that simple. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so you went there just to heal yourself and ended
Hmm.
up just having to stay. You're like, listen, something's going on deeper than that, and isn't that interesting? So a lot of times people are like just doing it for the mental aspect and like the mental health aspect, but this plant medicine also has physical attributes of healing as well as along with the community behind it. Can you go further into like that community aspect?
It's well, the community aspect comes from healing. The medicine, when it brings that to the community gets stronger from the healing, not from the knowledge and the wisdom, or not from the ceremony or the ritual. So before that, there's a relationship with the medicine that, like when you have a relationship with a teacher and you realize the teacher is there to help you and you're there to help you too, then something happens and then the community gets stronger. Um, and, something that we'll probably talk about later is then there's the other side of that when there's a bunch of power things having to do with the medicine, and the medicine gets all the power, and the energy of the community weakens because of that. Because it, like, it's a bunch of people in charge and all these different things, and the care um, kind of like falls aside sometimes. And so there's a very important balance when it comes to medicine and community. Community is one thing without medicine. You add medicine to community, it's a very powerful thing to pay attention to because yeah, it can unhinge the whole thing if it's the community, if itself without the medicine, it's not strong enough. The community doesn't have a very strong grasp, or, you know, like a community. Do you feel me? Like there are different types of community, but the main thing in it is their strength, their unity together.
Well, it's interesting, how popular ayahuasca has gotten, around the world, with a lot of like celebrities doing it and this, that, the other, and there's all these like things popping up. What's the difference between your ceremony and like all these other things that are kind of like these healing ceremonies that have popped up? What's the difference?
Um, well, I could say just from where I was to now. Now, where I was before, I used to do ceremonies, like big ceremonies with, um, 25, 30 people, and they're beautiful, and they're also, they can be exciting, and, to a certain degree, they will be healing. But I wouldn't say that there's a difference between my ceremony. The ceremony I choose to, the ceremony that I choose to conduct right now at this stage of my journey with the medicine, and because of my elders and teachers in my life right now, is, not, I don't need 25 people. It's almost impossible to actually give real healing one person with all those people. And you need to have, like, multiple medicine men and women there, but like trained people for that kind of healing with that many people. And so just having ceremonies with smaller groups, and also coming back to real language, meaning, just like English, and just real things, saying real things, or just not saying anything at all, meaning that, trying not to add too much of Eastern, like different philosophies that may, that are beautiful nonetheless, but like sometimes you can end up not really saying nothing at all, or just not being as clear as you can by using these like esoteric words and language, like how you're doing, and, I'm grounded in my third chakra, and my first chakra is this and that. And it's like, these are words that we're using to learn how to communicate about these things. But at the same time, I come from a lot of old school teachers, and they're like, hey, these words are all nice and they're fancy, and they've got their awesomeness, but at the same time, there's some real simple words that can be used, and that it's important for us to come back to just doing our best to be super clear. And sometimes the clearest thing you can say is, I don't know, instead of like using filler words to like say something. And, it's a balance. So the ceremonies I'm conducting now are just really, they're smaller, and there's much more of a preciseness in what is done, and what is said, and when, and why. And have concentrations, which, um, because I'm a member of the Santo Daime Church, that we have these things called concentrations, where we might sing a few songs, and then we stay quiet in the silence for about a half hour, 45 minutes, um, to drop into you, to not use music and things like this as a distraction to what may come up that really needs your attention. And if it's something challenging that you don't really want to face, then the objective is to know that you can face that in the silence, and not need something to distract you from what's uncomfortable. And, so it's part of the study of being comfortable and uncomfortable, to be able to see the reason, learn the lesson, and to be able to find grace. And, other than that, then it's, a ceremony full of feathers and beads, and, the ritual and the pomps and circumstance, which means, the show of it, where everyone's happy to see each other, and it's so, and all the clothes, and the ceremony clothes, and the ceremony jewelry, and all the accessories, and all these different things, they're all beautiful. But, to remember, it's a sacred hospital where you come to like take care of your shit, and then go back to life feeling lighter, to be able to shift and kind of step into your purpose, and step into what is important for you, your life, your family, your friends, they need that. They need you to, so that's important. Like, we can learn about the stars, we can learn, I'm a star seed, I'm a this, and all those things. And to a certain degree, they're important. But prior to you drinking this medicine and learning wisdom, and learning about the stars, and learning about all these different things, it was you beautiful, powerful you still unraveling from what God left in you. And sometimes parts of you can get hijacked in these experiences.
So, like, let's explain the ayahuasca experience for those that have never done it before. Because the one thing that we always learn is ayahuasca calls you. Aya calls the person that actually does the ceremony. I was called to it, by a friend of mine who she was going to the ceremony, and I just happened to just be bringing her there, and I ended up doing it by proxy. I was told not to do it, based on a reading that I got, but I ended up doing it anyway.
I remember.
Yeah, so it's interesting because what happened after that is that I ended up getting crowned, but it was because I was near death as well. So it's interesting how, well, I'm not sure if you were near death, but I know I was near death in my experience in my crowning ceremony, and it took the whole community to kind of bring me out of that, and that ceremony, I believe, saved my life. What are the healing aspects of ayahuasca? What is ayahuasca for those that don't know what the ayahuasca is? And all these plant medicines, not just only ayahuasca. Let's go into it.
Um, it's a plant that it's made into a tea. It's a vine and a leaf, um, and the vine and the leaf are cooked together to make this tea, which would be under the category of either entheogen or hallucinogenic. And because it activates dimethyltryptamine or DMT in your system, anything that activates dimethyltryptamine would be labeled as a hallucinogenic, no matter what it is. And so, of course, DMT or dimethyltryptamine is, we're all born with it in our pineal gland. And at the end of the day, it is a part of our entry and our exit portal as far as awareness. Not necessarily you may be more aware of the leaving depending on the journey you've had before at this stage, but the entering is not necessarily something that you remember. And but some people do, and that's, I mean, entering this world. And the vine itself, there's about 5 different types of vines. Actually, more than that. But there's a red one, there's a black one, there's a brown one, there's a kind of like grayish colored vine, and then the leaves itself that contains the dimethyltryptamine. Uh, not Capi, Chacruna or Chiliapanga are the names of the leaves. There are 2 of the leaves that can be used or is traditionally used in making this medicine. The vine, the name is Banistoriopus capi, or the capi vine. And that vine itself, and the different types of vines, like I said, in the colors, each vine has their different strengths and different reasons and purposes. And so that's a huge world, the vines itself, because there's another vine called the Jurema vine, which is in Brazil. And it's a skinnier vine, but they use that to make ayahuasca in Brazil. And it's a whole different spirit. It's still the spirit of ayahuasca, but it's different. It's you kind of have. I'm not even going to go into why, but it's just different because it's almost like it's for a specific type of work. This is what it feels like, and so then there's a different, big difference between ayahuasca in Brazil and ayahuasca in Peru, and different ayahuasca in different parts of Brazil and what it's called. Like with the Yawanawa people and the Huniquin, they call it different things. They call it uni, UNI. That's what they call ayahuasca for, like, universe. And so the journey, I mean, the best way to shorten up what ayahuasca is, this is tea, but it is connected to a very powerful and old spirit, an old conversation that we all have within us. For lack of a better phrase or better or a long explanation, it would be contained within the dimethyltryptamine within our system and different parts of our system. Um, the journey itself is a very powerful mirror that gives you an opportunity to see yourself, to really like be present with what and who you're becoming, and then do your best to move with that, to I don't know, to like really agree, not agree, but like, it's like if an elder sits down and gives you some information to um, help you move forward in life, then you will do your best to heed the information and move with grace to the place where you can then use it to better your life. And so ayahuasca is like that, where you receive insights, you receive sometimes visions that will remind you of something. Sometimes the nature of ayahuasca will unlock different parts, things that have been suppressed during your journey of life. Um, Ayahuasca, like a bunch of other medicines, some of their main jobs is to unlock your system, almost like the Campbell frog medicine, back to a kind of energetic factory reset. What that would be, really, in simple words, would be harmony. To say that we are to be in harmony, meaning all the way around 360 in your journey is important for you to have harmony. It's not a bunch of stories all over the place and things like this that, that just causes issues or problems in your life, but you're desiring to bring your journey to harmony. So the medicine is a harmonizer. So there's a lot of things you can learn, a lot of things you can see, a lot of things that are dependent on what you're focusing on, what your intentions are. Then you'll either pay attention to what that is, or you can easily get caught in different things with ayahuasca. They call it the grandmother medicine because it's feminine energy, and also it feels like that, like when you're in the journey, you feel held, and like you feel held and secure, like when you're with an old energy or like a grandmother. And yeah, part of the objective, see, so there's different, like they say, for everything there's levels of things, so the beginning part, with good intentions, you might receive some information that tells you about you, and then afterwards you go out and you start doing something about that right away. Depends on how fast you move with whatever you receive. Energetically, for some people who go to ceremony, they may receive really powerful information, but may not know exactly how to implement it or use it in a way to help them, even if it's really simple, and um, but it's at times, that's part of the work. Like, wow, it just told me I need to be kinder in like 5 different ways. So let me, like, tomorrow, let me start doing my best to be kinder. Let me see where I'm not kind. Let me have that kind of focus, because, I did this ceremony so I can receive something, not just what I want. That's the most important thing. You're not going to get what you want. Then you're able to receive more important things than what you want, or what you just desire, Um, because it's a sacred hospital, the objective is not to go there to find your gifts or find, I don't know, what star you're connected to or anything like that. That's a thing. Those are things of the mind, in a way that, again, it's not necessarily is the point of going to a ceremony. The point is for you to go and clean yourself. And so in a lot of other traditions that use the medicine, the whole point for them is just cleaning, energetic cleaning of yourself, of your mind, of your stories, of your energy, of things of your past, energies that like prevent you from like blossoming and growing in a beautiful, powerful way. Um, that's why you would go to an ayahuasca ceremony, if you understand that there are parts of you that you would like to clean, and energies your gifts and things like this, they show up the more you clean yourself, the more the things that God left in you will show up. And so, again, depending on your intention and how powerful that is, it's almost the intelligence of this entity called ayahuasca can feel and recognize that you are actually really truly here for that thing that you say you're here for. Even if it's simple, like, I'm just here so you can show me me. Show me me. That's my intention. That's it. Nothing else. Not with any kind of desire to show me, me, the magical me, the me I've never seen, the me I know that's there, all of that. Just please just show me me. So then whatever I see, now I get to like really, this whatever I see is gonna show me something. And then at the
To
same
work on that, to work on whatever that issue is, right?
Yes, yes, because it's not going to show you. If it shows you and you're like, oh, it showed me that I'm the one and I'm here to like lead the medicine. None of that shit happens really. It's a hospital. You don't go to a hospital to get a degree to be a doctor. You go to school. So
Right.
at the end of the day, you're going there to mirror the parts of you that are not to mirror, to see the parts of you that's not in harmony. And then to have the part of you that's honest enough to agree, to like go, to acknowledge, to go like, wow, that's true, this is true, whatever it is. Because if you're in resistance of hearing the truth, then it takes a little longer for you to like step into your journey of healing. And the medicine is for healing. It's not for advancement. Advancement happens when you're healed, when you heal things, when you like harmonize things. And it's not like the healing is not some like snap your finger and it's done. It's a beautiful process that like it's almost like people say you got to get rid of these things. It's not necessarily getting rid of anything. It's just bringing harmony to it. Do you know what I mean? Like as your shadow self, you don't get rid of your shadow. You you harmonize with it.
Yeah, and it was interesting because like even in my journey when I actually did it with you, the first thing that you said was, listen, if you see something scary, you know, greet it. You know what I'm saying? Don't be afraid of it. Show it love. Because I did see some like, what is that? And
Mm-hmm.
if I probably would have fed into that fear, it probably would have made my whole experience like even worse. Because whatever that aspect of you, it's showing you yourself. It's saying, okay, these are the aspects. Okay, so and before the whole thing happens, you're just going through the journey of okay, just getting there. And then when you finally, whatever your intentions are, right? It might not. You'll think that your intention is for one thing,
Mm-hmm.
and it'll be like, well, that's not your problem. And you'll hear it like that's not what your problem. This is what your problem is. This
Mm-hmm.
this is
And
this over here. It'll be something deeper. And I even explained like with me, I actually did a review on my ayahuasca experience on this channel, and I
mm-hmm.
said I went in there thinking that I had to cure alcoholism, right? And what Mama Ayahuasca, the plant, told me was, well, your problem is not that. You haven't forgiven your mother. You haven't forgiven yourself for these certain things. This is what all these things really amount to in your body. And
Mm-hmm.
then now, okay, and probably needs to be even more, done to heal certain stuff. But bottom line is that you think you're going in, that you're going to get one thing, and you come out with something completely different that you never even thought it was.
Mm-hmm. And it's the blessing, because if you can, not just if, but when you accept the levels and the truth of whatever you think the story is, and sometimes there's an opportunity to be still enough to know that whatever you think and feel the story is may not be the truth of it, because there's layers to things. And wherever it came from, there's a foundation. So the foundation is the story, not necessarily the thing that's happening. That's just a part of it. And so The medicine is just reading you and running through you, scanning you to check to see where you are and what's going on and what parts of you um, there's that needs to be harmonized. And again, it's like, it's just like the old, I've learned that it's like that old saying, you make one move and then God or the universe will make 10. You take one step, God take 50. And so it's kind of like that. What I've learned is that like there are a bunch of things you'll receive that like seem like just instructions, but by the grace of God go I. So then God is so good all the time, is per step and per moment you choose to follow those instructions is when something else will happen that you can't imagine coming until you make those steps. And so I've, in the communication with the spirit of ayahuasca, it's like saying that, like, hey, you know, you're thinking that, we always think the problem is what's happening, but it's usually not that. That's the outcome. That's the echo of the problem in a sense, is the result. And so it's always reminding to like stay still enough so you can actually really pay attention to what it is that's brought things to pass instead of just what is brought to pass. And it's telling you to look at yourself in that way, to say, hey, because then now I know why I'm drinking so much, because there's this old story that's never been touched. It hasn't been touched in a while, having to do with something that's connected to my heart, connected to my mind, connected to my emotions, connected to my future, my steps. Of course, it's my parents, it's my mother, it's something as powerful as forgiveness. But we might use a whole bunch of spiritual words and do a bunch of things to like try to like heal it or whatever it is, the alcoholism, it's the spirits of something. Someone will come and say the spirit of alcohol has got you. Someone will say a bunch of things like that. And the truth is like something as simple of not forgiving the thing that brought you onto the planet. How could that could mess up your journey? Or this is the ramifications of not forgiving,
I
period.
had to forgive myself because I had had abortions, and it showed me. It
Yep.
showed me. It
Yep.
showed me the children. It said, okay, well, this is this. And it was wild to see it in that realm. It was
Mm-hmm.
crazy. It showed me a lump of flesh and different lumps, different situations. And I'm just sharing this with my audience because I'd had a few abortions too, and it
Mm-hmm.
showed me. Said you haven't forgiven yourself for this. You haven't forgiven yourself for your mother, and that's like the root. And
Yep.
slowly after that ceremony, I forgave my mother. I feel I got closer to her. I
Mm-hmm.
was able to heal myself from the guilt of what I had done. You
Mm-hmm.
know, it the plant it did a lot for me. But and that's why I really feel it's important to take it in context. So people just like might just do it on their own. It's like, well, you're missing out on the aspect of the healing aspect of the ceremonial aspect of it, not
Mm-hmm.
just like tapping into DMT, because DMT, without the guidance of the ceremony could lead you to Lord knows where, because I even
Will.
yeah.
It will
um
lead.
you have people like Elon Musk that took DMT. You have all these different like actors that take it. They'll take the pure DMT. I'm not sure where they get it from. Probably the ayahuasca plant, and then they like break it down just the DMT, and then take that and without any kind of ceremony to it. So why is it important? Why is ceremony important in this whole practice of medicine of plant medicine?
I will answer that. Just give me 1 second. I'm just going to run to the loo. Hold on 1 second.
Also, understand he listen. I know he looks like he's tired. He does a lot. Okay, these ceremonies are very taxing and stuff like that on the body. And when it I'll say, come on now, can I finish my interview, child? Ain't nothing in there for you. I said all we got. She just want to just be on the camera. That's all it was. Okay. Say everybody say hello to Offset. Say hi to Offset. So bottom line is that when it really comes down to this type of medicine, it's not just psychedelic you just take, just to get high off of. This is a spiritual journey. This is the medical. This is the thing that gets released when you're here, when you're born, and when you pass on. And when right, hello Offset, hey Offset. She trying to pretend like she just here trying to ask a question, but really she just want to be on the camera. She just cameras ready, prepare to flash. But anyways, so uh the plant itself is a beautiful thing. You know what I'm saying? It's not just, and there's different plants, and all the different plants have different things that they heal, and they all have their own way of healing. You have the well, also like not just plant medicine, but you have frog medicine, you have there's snake venom medicine, there's even what's the other one? Chocolate, cocoa. You could like take a certain amount of like the cocoa, the
Oh,
chocolate
cacao, cacao.
cacao. Yeah, so there's all types of different medicine that comes from these regions that people are using to heal themselves, but you can't just do it in a superficial way. You have to understand that you're there to heal yourself, a certain aspect, going there with intention, not just to go to Mars and see the aliens or whatever people are talking about. Because when I did my experience, I did not go there with a specific understanding of all these different watching all these different videos until afterwards. And then I'm like, okay, you know, I mean, if you just do it in like this superficial way and you don't have the ceremony behind, I believe that you're missing out because there's so much care done in that ceremony. So I just once again
Hmm.
wanted to ask you, okay, about the ceremony versus like just the plan alone. If you just take it alone, what are you missing?
I think. Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, well, this is a conversation that I had a while ago with someone, and one of my teachers, and like years ago, there's a lot more caution because younger people, or just people who are just not educated at all, or people who just really wanted to get high or experience it for the sake of it, were getting their hands on it. And it's very dangerous because depending on where you are in your health and whether you know about the different types of contradictions with medications that could, like, cause death. There's lots of concerns, but then eventually too, there are people who have, got proper guidance to be able to do it on their own, but they've also first went to go do it several times with other people to be able to have the proper experience and reverence for the journey and for what you're doing. So I say that first because there are people who do that, and but they also do it responsibly, and they have lots of reverence for the plant and the journey because they understand what they're doing. And I say that too because we are stepping into the age where people are being able to, are dropping into receiving the energy and frequency for self guidance in a way, which is a powerful time we're moving into. Again, depending on where they are in their journey and their ego and things like this, if you have an opportunity to have a very powerful ally in your life that can help you in some way, then it's a very powerful gift to have. So you can drink medicine for yourself and then, you know, put it away and get back to your life. And when you need some more guidance, you can drink some medicine, journey for yourself, and then put it away and get back to your life. The other version is the egoic version at times, where as soon as you get some medicine, now you feel the next thing to do is go and lead and be the person, the medicine man, and the things like this. One, I'm from Guyana, South America. I'm South American. So Peru, Colombia, Brazil, none of them use the word shaman. Why? Because the word is from a different country, Siberia, not from Peru, Colombia, Mexico, Brazil, none of these countries, Ecuador. Some of them have adopted the name because America has taken the word and, and boom, because, and it's not just America, but it's like, um,
So
perfect example. Carlos.
I must apologize for even using that word. I
No,
didn't.
no, no, because you don't have to apologize because it's something that's like it's in the consciousness, like Western's idea of spirituality, shamanistic spirituality. These types of things are based on a bunch of things that have happened that you can't blame anyone for anything because a long time ago these words were like ingrained into the Western mind. So what people say and they use is not, they've heard this for forever. So it's not, it's not like I'm not like
So would
judging
you be
anyone.
considered like a medicine man, or is that like another like weird thing to go
Yeah,
on?
that would be like the softest, easiest kind of version. Why? Because the other words, they're like power words that people use for a reason. You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
Like in South America, like in parts of Mexico, there's the curandero, there's the curandera. Curandero, the male, curandera, the female. Curandera, the one that cures. Really simple, really simple.
Ah,
And
wow.
it doesn't sound like shaman because that's what America did to that word. America like sensationalizes every fucking thing. But this is kind of one of the parts of that. So in other countries, depending on the type of medicine it is, the word, so it's ero would be the word that says this is a person that thing that they study is their field. Tobaquero, a person that studies just tobacco and they work with just tobacco. So it's kind of like that, really simple. The other word has nothing to do with the medicines and da da da. The word shamanistic is like referring to the works of these things, but it's not, again, Siberia. It's where the word shaman came from. Medicine man, really simple because it's a man that works with medicines. Really simple.
So
In
you have in your name right here, Shurio Shanipa
mhm,
Sinkalit. What does that mean? Yawaso Shurio Shanika Shurio Shanipa.
it's my full spiritual name, Yawasoe Shuru Shanipa Sinkalip. And but I was saying so in Peru, the Shipibo Indians, which are my teachers, the tribe is called the Shanibo Kanibo people. Shanibo Kanibo. And they don't use the word shaman. They use the word, so they actually put a post that you can go look it up online, like maybe 2 years ago, basically saying, hey, we don't refer ourselves as shamans, so if you can like stop referring us as that. And the people who lead ceremonies are called onanyas.
Oh,
And
Nanya.
onanya, so you would be referred to as an onanya, a person who works with these sacred medicines. And but they did that only because it was just like, people are coming to like study shamanism and the shaman and who's a shaman, and they're looking for the shaman, and they were like, there's no shamans here. Like they were just saying, hey, please, like, let's just respect our lineage and the stuff like that, because you're using wrong words. You're not using incorrect words for the thing, for where you are. And they're just like saying, hey, yeah, we understand where that word comes from, but you're not there. You're not in Siberia, so why would you use the word? Are you
Right.
able to, like, yeah, drop down to that level of awareness? And so um sh- uh Shuryu Shanipa is one of the oldest names for ayahuasca. Like, old. You like only a few medicine men and women like in the jungles would know that name. So it's one of my teachers gave me that name in the jungle.
Oh wow.
And Sinkalip is the folkloric name for the coyote in the Native American traditions and Native American folkloric stories about the creation stories of when animals got their names. And the story of Sinkalip, um, on how he tried to trick all the animals because he didn't like his name, but then creator helped him to realize how powerful his journey really is. And the moral of the story is that like everything that was placed in you, including your name, everything's like for reasons that you can't know until it expands, until you get there, until you own it, until you know. So till you till no part of you is broken, till you love your shadow, till all of it. Once all of those things happen, then the other parts of you that creator left in you will manifest, will open up. But as long as you don't like this part of you and that part of you and this part of you and that part of you, then it's harder for you to fully, truly awaken all of you.
So the whole thing about the ayahuasca ceremony is to be self-aware and to understand that, it's really fixing that part of you where that helps you to move on, to like helps you to grow in a certain way. Um
Hmm.
Now in certain parts of Peru, you have the high mountain people that actually are on the Andes mountains, that they don't use ayahuasca in their ceremony. They utilize the mountains, like that hypoxic aspect of going really high up into the mountains, and that could be something that triggers that DMT. So what's the difference between the ones that use the plant medicine versus the ones that are in the top of the mountain that use those other modalities, and why are they not using the same medicine?
Um, for many reasons, but I think um, more importantly than the differences is really the golden thread that goes between them all, which is transformation, change, compassion, love, awareness, the foundation of these things. And, sometimes the medicine is stillness, sometimes the medicine is a level of like a level above things, why they are so high in the ground. I mean, above the ground why do they go to such altitudes is to also mimic that being above your mind, um, because that's also something that the medicine teaches you to like to not be ruled by your mind.
So a lot of times, like people, when they think about ayahuasca, they think it's a negative thing. They think that it's like, I mean, when you're, dealing with these entities, right? When you whatever you're seeing, well, those are demons, it's like the other, and like, what would you say to that?
um hmm. Do you know that saying, face your demons?
Ah,
There's a saying,
good. That's
you
good.
got you got to face your demons. If you slow it down to the last two words, it's your demons. So what is a demon? A demon is an inner construct that is created out of fear, out of lack, out of a bunch of things. A combination of chemicals, if you would say, that is created out of lack of information to be able to bring light to the illusion of darkness. What happened to you? Oh my God, the thing came from me. What? Your projection. But that's
Wow.
to understand you as a vessel, understand what we do, is to be honest with how you project, what you and when you project. What is happening? I don't know, but I might project a story based on my fear. If I project it enough times, it becomes something. It becomes something tangible. It becomes something real. It becomes something what they would call in Kabbalah or like in Jewish mysticism, an egregore, a third party. There's me, my conversation, and what my conversation creates, this third party. It becomes like a being, a form. It becomes like matter. It becomes this energy that the more I say the same thing, it's fed. You keep feeding this third party energy. You feed it to the point it gets so strong that it starts to affect your whole journey. I'll give you a perfect example of what a demon would be. A demon, a simple, could be I can't. The demon called I can't. I can't do that. I can't do that. I can't do that. And you just keep saying it. I can't do that. I can't do that. Boom, there's a seed. I can't, I can't, I can't, I can't, I can't. It starts growing. I can't. It's a being. I can't, I can't, I can't, I can't. Now it's this throbbing energy. Boom, 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 boom. And it gets to this point where when it hits you, you won't. Hits you in
Ah,
the head, it'll never happen. Someone will go, man, like it looks like you're possessed. Like this simple thing, like crossing the street. It's like you can't cross the street, or you can't go through that door, or you won't go up those stairs, or you won't do it. It's like you're possessed. It's like something is stopping you. Someone might say, man, someone put a spell on you. Some demon is preventing you from doing this thing. It's you putting a spell on you. And that's the reality too about what it is. Like we're that powerful. We'll say we're powerful, but not understand what that really means in the mirror of who you think you're speaking to when you're speaking at any moment. And what do you think you're affecting at any moment as you speak, as you think, as you breathe? And there's layers and levels to that the intelligent can't really our intelligence can't really conceptualize. Why? Because of all of the fear that we have in so many different levels. We create our own opposition, we create our own, and here's the craziest part. There's a bunch of things we're fully aware of, but we're totally blind to it as it's happening.
wow, yeah, exactly. So, do you think that the plant actually breaks down that barrier of it? It takes away that ego to what they call it, the ego death, right? It takes away that ego to where you could actually look into the like a mirror of what's really going on.
Mm, yeah, and I say the ego would be all the layers from the top of the ocean to the bottom of the ocean. That would be the ego. So it doesn't actually die. And then there's no reason to kill the ego. It doesn't make any sense. There's nothing that God placed in you that needs to die. Nothing. So that's just real. So all the conversations about killing anything is not really necessary. At the end of the day, what happens are layers, like a snake loosen, shedding its skin, where, you don't hear the snake complaining while it's like crawling on the ground and pushing the skin off with the ground and the rocks and everything like that. It's ripping the skin off, but it knows that it's time to transform. Something has to happen. And when it's done, it'll be new again, being able to move into what's next new. That would be called an ego death, the shedding of your skin, the shedding of the old, the shedding of what is not needed anymore. But that's also fucking called growth. It's called growth.
Right.
It's called
Hmm.
rites of passage. It's called what's really next. It's called inevitability. It's called change. It's called what has to happen. It's called either let go or be dragged. It's life. It's an organism. It's something that we're bound to. So then you can take that reality and turn it into add a bunch of magical words and a bunch of things to it and blah blah blah. But we're all bound to that. And the more this is what ayahuasca teaches you, reminds you, hey, you're an organism. Hey, you're a life force. Hey, you're bound to a bunch of things that all organisms are bound to. Get to know yourself from that level, not only from your intellectual conversation about who you are. I'm a queen, I'm a god, I'm a whatever. Like that's not as important as what else that's going on inside of you. What you're becoming in the face of all those words is more important than all those words.
You know what was crazy is that during the ceremony that she was having, there was another person in the ceremony that was laughing. And at one point, I found myself, I don't know why, getting irritated with the laughter. And
Hmm.
then something came over me and said, "Well, you ain't no, you guys are one with each other. It's not even him laughing; it's you laughing." I'm like, "What? uh, what? So why are you mad at him? It's not even. It's not even. You're no. You're not separate from him. That
Yeah,
part of feeling one with everything was the most interesting aspect of feeling at one like that. That this person is not separate from me. Why get mad at him because he's laughing?
yeah.
Then I understood that whatever he might be laughing at might be part of what he's going through, what he's seeing. Why are you gonna get mad at that? So I had to. So whatever came was coming upon me is not to be worried about what everybody else is doing. Be focused on yourself and whatever you're going through. So that was interesting. I had to
That's a life fact, and that's a life lesson, and that's like Again, there's a lot of really beautiful, simple, important things you can learn from the medicine. And if you can take it, wash, rinse, and repeat. Wash, rinse, and repeat. Wash, rinse, and repeat. Meaning it's got to be that important to you that you're going to take that wash, rinse, and repeat till you don't have to wash, rinse, and repeat anymore about that thing where it's actually sitting in you. It's important to you. It's like, you own that now, that feeling for you. And so, again, because it's such a powerful thing, like, my goodness, when we have experiences, it's a conditioned thing upon a lot of us, but, and this is why a lot of these platforms and things like that are so powerful. Like, we want to share everything, 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 and not everything is to be shared. At times, especially in the medicine, you receive some things that are just for you, really powerful lessons. And sometimes what we do, we go out and we start, hey, the medicine says blah, and we start like trying to teach people things and like, because now you're aware. Now you don't know shit yet. You're aware of something. It feels real and it feels powerful. And now we're just wanting to share. I just want people to know all these powerful things that I just became aware of. But we haven't washed, rinsed, and repeated yet.
Yeah.
We
Ashe.
haven't taken it to the gym. We haven't actually did some push-ups with that thing and had some work with it, not just fucking becoming a freaking verbal masturbator. It's just constant verbal masturbation. It's like not a lot of things grow when you're just freaking spouting out facts. Who cares? What did you do with it?
Right.
That's what the medicine is asking, because the second, third, fourth time, here you are, just like now it's like you're just stealing information. You're just looking for more information so you can go back and act like a workshop. And the
Right.
greatest thing is like, that was just for you. So here, I've seen this happen over the last like 15, 20 years. Bunch of people who have like opened their mouth and shared a bunch of things. The people that received that went on and turned their lives into most amazing things. And those people are in the same place.
Wow.
Why? Because it wasn't for you to freaking walk around and start acting like you're like Gandhi with like information to change the world. Change yourself. Change your world. That's why you got it. That's why it came to you. You drank it, it came to you. You took it, it came to you. It came to you and only for you. And that's that big thing that many people in stepping into this journey, because the desire to share, 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 not only to share for sharing's sake, but to share to be seen, to share
Mm.
to be accepted, to share to look away, to share to be relevant, to share for all these things. And it's a personal relationship you're having with this medicine. It ain't got nothing to do with nobody else, so it's nobody else's business. The greatest thing you can do is honor you and the medicine that much to start the relationship, because you'll miss the whole point the more you keep sharing about what it is you just got when you haven't even taken it to the gym. Half of it will be forgotten because it hasn't been given the proper something. Someone give you, a grandma gives you some advice. Hey, why don't you just do this? When you get up in the morning, drink the water, go stand in front of the sun, tap your head 3 times, and then turn around left, then turn around right. Boom. Thanks, grandma. Boom. You leave. Hey man, you wanna know the secret to abundance? You gotta drink some water. Bam, 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 bam. And it's $45. That's my course. But the reality too is like, once you start that personal relationship with the medicine, it's a powerful thing, and it doesn't mean that now you're like golden and infallible of like having making errors and changing. Like, you signed up to be a patient in the hospital.
Right.
So so when the moment that you're a patient, and then you be a humble patient, and then you go back to being, you know, a student
Right.
of life in a really powerful way. No, nothing and no one is infallible of like, not going through the shifting and shedding of your skin. If the animals are all bound to it, why wouldn't we? It's called the rites of passage. So the medicine really helps us. All of the medicines, in many different ways will just keep giving us different levels of our rites of passage. And all that is, it's a change in it, it's a maturity, it's a growth. Where
So
I was
can
before.
so can you explain the connection to music in the medicine?
Frequency, harmony, vibration. That's what rules the energy of the medicines, or just we are ruled by it. So when you take this, when you're outside of your normal awareness, your normal hearing, your normal sight, your normal receptivity, then music, vibration, all those things affect you on multiple layers. Your access is in different levels of and dimensional levels of awarenesses with music. And so music becomes the keys within the journeys with the medicines. A song could turn a whole journey into something about you and your ex-boyfriend or girlfriend for like an hour. If that song went on for an hour, all the medicine has to do, or again, all the song has to do is unlock, like for lack of a better phrase, like the akashic records of your stories, of moments of and usually you're not just you. Most of the times it goes straight first to things where there's disharmony. So sometimes there's a song that will like trigger that, and bam. If not, you might be just looking at rainbows and butterflies for like 10 minutes. But the point is, there's going to be a song or a frequency or a sound or a vibration. You might be sitting there, someone hits a gong or a singing bowl, and bam, you go off into this trip, and it's about you and your grandma and your dad or something like this. And so the universal conversation is unfathomable, meaning that, like, the grains of sands have grains of sands that have grains of sands that have grains of sands,
Mm,
and that means that, like, no matter how much you think that how close you think you're getting to understanding something, you're still on level like two, and even if it feels like you've been on level two for 2 million times, that's still level two. And that's good, because then eventually you stop trying to like get to a point where now you know something, but try to figure out what you can do powerfully with what you know now.
mm,
Like, I know that, if you find out that you're the descendant of something, 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 what is that going to do to your Tuesday and Wednesday? If you something says you are a royal bloodline, is that going to change your food tomorrow? Will that make you speak differently? Will you be, will you act more kingly or queenly? What does that look like? What does that mean? What does it matter?
wow.
Then you might find a bunch of wounds that have you wanting to be more than what God left you as. A whole bunch of wounds that have us, like, trying to, keep putting on avatars for the sake of like being seen, but you can't. That means you're not good with being naked. That means you haven't fully accepted yourself, all of you. And that's part of our journey. That's what the medicine helps us to, just accept it. Whatever it is that happened, accept, stop fighting, stop fighting, stop fighting. Just stop
And
fighting.
and and this and you know what, this happens in a lot of the modalities when it really comes down to it, because I introduced you to I was trying to introduce you to my godmother who practices the Peruvian, and it's all based on sound. And what I found out was, oh, okay, because I have went to many of her sessions and I didn't even understand what was going on. One day it came upon me, oh, the sounds are triggering the chemicals in my brain to, because she's using the mountain Andes, the with the sound,
Mhm.
right? Those sounds are triggering, different dopamine and serotonin within the brain, and then you're taking an inward journey. All right. So
Mhm.
within that journey you work things out, and you might even travel, you might even go deeper. The sound itself is a vibration, and we are all vibrating. That's
That
how.
part.
Yeah, so what it really comes down to, we're all vibrating on a different level. And the main thing, which is why I really wanted to bring you here, is because you know what? It all is the same thing. That's the biggest thing I've like really figuring out. All these practices that really coming from tribal religions, whether it be Ifa, whether it be plant medicine, whether it be the shamans up in the Andes Mountains using different modalities. They're all like kind of like doing similar practices, and they're all, the destination is the same, right?
Yeah, and that's why I say to people, like, they have you tried this medicine, or you tried this medicine? Have you tried that medicine? Have you tried this medicine? Well, hey, the last medicine you tried, what did you get? Did it bring you back to love, and did it bring you back to harmony? Did it show you where you can better yourself? Did it show you where you need to take care of yourself? Because if not, then boom, I'm not sure what happened. I'm not sure why you took it. I'm not sure, Are you just looking for extras? You're looking for accessories for your life, or are you looking to take care of yourself? Have you gotten to this? And this is why this is like, the question to who would you say should come to medicines? A person who's ready to be honest with themselves about what's really going on with them. And even if they're not fully clear, at least have enough to start the conversation. And then have the parts of them that's willing to accept them, or if not, if you know that your journey is full of resistance, then start the journey of understanding why you have so much resistance. Then you'll have a great ceremony, because you're then none of that have to do with some fantasy story about some, being really mindful of what you adopt is also super important. You're there to take care of your being and cleanse your being, so your being can evolve, and more of you can be accessed, and things like this. Stories about our ancestors and all these different things and all the extra stories and the magical ones ain't got nothing to do with you. And to balance it, so because the medicine is picking up your vibration, you're in ceremony and you're waiting for something to come and show you the way. There ain't nothing, like, just want to see you're real, see your. And so I say that, like, again, in that answer to the question about who, how do you know you're ready? It's when sometimes it's when you're sick of yourself, when you're done, when you when you hit the wall and you're like, man, I'm done, like, fucking thinking I know what's going on, or whatever the fuck is happening in your journey, to be able to just go, wow, I don't know enough. I need some help. I don't know
Right.
enough. Like,
Knowing that you need to know.
that's
I'm
it.
gonna show
That's
you a picture,
all.
and I want you to tell me what you say about what you think about. I mean, what? Because this is actually taken from your page. Tell me what this picture represents.
Oh, this is like the purging of several things. The purging of the electronic empire, meaning all of the things around you that have conditioned you, us, like our outer parents, television, news, all these different things that you can say that you know who you are, but you are also a collection of all these different things. So it's like the purging of that. Part of that is the purging of cultural appropriation. So respect and love and value can be given to things, people, and places, and medicines and traditions and things like that, without this ownership and this like constant like value, taking it to like create more value, and everyone is trying to make a dollar out of every freaking thing that has a Native American like smell, feather to it, or whatever the heck. It's just part of this thing. So it's the purging of that, like, because they don't send this money to the Native American people. They just use their things, use their ideas, use all their things, and so it's something, as an indigenous person, that's an important thing to me. Proper um, reciprocity. It's people whose lives, we're making money off of on so many different levels, and just not giving a fuck, and just doing whatever we want. And that's an important thing. So it represents that. It also represents part of the feminine energy coming back to its power, that it's not so emasculated, that the power of a woman is not that energy, the feminine energy that's within butterflies and things like this can't, that's totally erased or eradicated. Um, and it also represents like the current. It represents music. It represents symmetry. It represents the current and the electromagnetic conversation that is our vessel. You know, we're like one of the most magical freaking systems ever made, still untapped. the human being still untapped. It's a divine orchestration, and the more that we are looking at our vessel, looking at our brain, looking at our system, and looking at the stars and seeing the mirror and all these different things, the more fascinating it gets. So it represents that story as well.
So, what were you feeling when you were doing this picture? What was that picture? What does that picture represent?
Family represents me and my daughter, stepping into a trust, a very powerful trust.
What about this
That's
one? How were you feeling
that's
here?
my girl. What's that?
How were you feeling here? What was this one?
That
Sound like
was
y'all
just
was having a good time right there.
wow. We that was after
You
like
take some of the most awesome pictures, by the way. Like your pictures on your Facebook are so entertaining. I love to go through them.
that was after several weeks of like just good work. Like she has been my mentor and just a really important person in my journey, especially in the last 2 years. Just really, the conversations and things like that have been just gems and very powerful in where I am right now, and the things that I'm doing right now, things I'm creating. A lot of these things um, have her like stamp on it and her like her help and her energy in it. So
And I
um,
see you
I
here
was
and
just super
over here
grateful.
playing music right here. Like
Hmm.
so. Explain the emotions here because it looked like y'all was just having a good old time right here. All your pictures, like you just are having a good time.
No, we just smoked.
Oh, okay.
We just had smoke. We were playing music inside, and came outside to smoke, and we were talking a whole bunch of crap, and that was just her, like our inner childs have conversations a lot. Her and I.
What about this one?
Sacred Sons, beautiful organization. That was a very powerful moment where I was just really having sweet support from my brothers, having to do with the conversations, like, just really beautiful healing conversations as men. And so it's just a moment where we're all taking turns of being supported and supporting each other. That was an awesome time.
I just really wanted to show like how what the imagery looks like in this ceremonial aspect. It's one thing
Well, those
to
are just different moments in my life. That's not necessarily the ceremonial thing. Those are just like pictures of different moments in my life. Like ceremonial photos, I mean, it's just like usually that's like the altars and things like that, because that's what's really connected to at least the ritual thing, the ayahuasca and different
well,
medicine.
I believe that also the medicine has brought you into like these images. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
yes,
Like the
100%.
connection
Yes.
between the ceremony and the imagery has brought you to be in contact with beautiful people.
Mm-hmm.
Able to
Yeah.
like see life from this perspective, right? You see this? Look at this.
Yes.
Like
And it
how who
continues.
would take a picture like this? No one would think about. You know what I'm saying? So it's almost like, your the imagery that you even portray in these images like are showing a certain beauty within your life. And I just wanted to show those things.
Yes, this is true. I mean, at the end of the day, beyond what you know and where you go and who the real gifts that you receive in life are what ends up happening to you without you trying, without you just, working hard is really great. And I love working hard, but I love, some people go, do you know your worth? And I'm like, um, beyond knowing my worth or instead of trying to explain that, I would just say I look at what comes into my life when I'm not trying, when I'm not going after it. If I'm thinking about something and then suddenly it's here, that's when I would see that my worth is in this moment, saying that I am worthy enough to get it right now. And even if it doesn't come right away, the point is that like your worth is also shown by what is received effortlessly, from creation, from creator. And I see someone said, I don't believe in magic. And my answer to that, you don't need to believe in magic. You just have to do your best to be magical. Now, it depends on what magic you're talking about, magic on the stage or magic of life. Magic of being alive, the magic in breathing. Being able to use your hands is magic. Your feet is magic. Your eyes and ears, it's magic. Your voice, magic. Why? Because as you speak, things are created. As you think, things are created. More magic. So it all depends on what you mean about believing in magic. You might be saying you don't believe in you, but then also that's also a good way to start your healing by being honest about what that means.
Right. So, Scam Chan's atheist. So a lot of times, like, a lot of atheists will like look at a certain thing like this and say, "Oh, I don't believe it." What would you
Oh
say
yeah,
to
oh yeah.
what would you
Well, I
say to
mean, again, it's to say that how does your arm work and how does your eyesight work? Is that something you need to believe in? You need to believe in how you see, or do you need to believe in how you hear? There's a part of that that is part of biology, part of a system, part of a bunch of things, and at the end of the day, too, chemicals are released to allow the body to receive information for action to happen, happening at speeds that you can't imagine. But chemicals, all of life is a chemical release, all of it. All of life is a chemical release. Your journey is a chemical release. It's why these medicines and the chemical release from these medicines are so healing at times, because it's just joining your chemical release, which is your life. Your pain, your sorrow, your stories, all of those things are chemical releases. Your story that you're still holding from 10 years ago, the reason why is because there's some chemicals that are still lodged in your system that are still feeding you the information and the pain and the da, 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 from 10 years ago. They weren't cleaned. And um, it's stages and levels of things about awareness. If you don't know, you don't know. So until you know a little more, certain things won't move, certain things won't grow, including yourself. And the worst thing you can do is get trapped in words, because that's what I mean about the spiritual esoteric language and things like this, because people will just go in circles using words and just stay in circles, because that's the trap. So that's what I mean, like,
right? I don't call the unknown magic. Okay, so what
that's
difference
what I
does it
mean. Yeah, that's where
Who
the trap
cares? Who
begins.
cares? Who
That's where
cares
the
whether it's called magic or not? Whatever it's called, it's unknown.
well,
Right?
well, the point is that if you say something's the unknown after you say that word, then boom, you have to stay quiet, like totally silent for a while. The unknown. Anything else is now what you know. And I say it that way because you get caught up in semantics, and like, you know, for many people, there's an inner fight happening inside of themselves that they're still working on, that have to do with even knowing something or being aware or the desire to. And anyone who says they don't care actually cares more than the person that says they care in the bigger reality about any of it. And at the same time, the conversation between science and all these things, like there's a point where you're going down a rabbit hole that you're not even a rabbit anymore. In
Do you believe that?
real talk.
Do you believe in that? Really, this plant medicine is an ancient technology, an ancient science. Do you believe that?
I believe that we don't know enough, but we should be grateful for what we have and use it in a way that helps us. And at times, the Western mind is just constantly trying to find out more. So, if the thing is coming here to heal your heart, here's something to heal your heart. How, when can we make more? Can we make mass amount of it? Can we make it go faster? Can we more, 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 more? No, 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 no. Like, just heal your heart and get on with it. And that mind, that desire, that want, that hold, that grasp, that ownership, all of that is a saboteur. It's like destroys at times your journey, because you don't take the pill and go on with your life. You need to own the pill, you need to know the pill, you need to know the ingredients, you need to know to the point where some simple things don't get their power that they deserve, because before you can actually just use it, you question the fuck out of it, bring it to court, and have a jury, like, to that point. That's the mind. And, I've learned that certain things are so much simpler than that, and at the end of the day, inward to outward, like Jackie said. And, sometimes the most powerful advancement is a knowledge of self, not knowledge of information outside of you, like, you might know all about the universe and still like have issues with like simplicity. Hey, why are you so angry? Yeah, no, because blah 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 blah. But you know all about the universe. Like, so what? Do you understand? It's like it's
And you know
information. You're just
what?
like it's dumb.
That is the biggest thing that you kind of figure out in this journey with this medicine is like, so what? You know what I'm saying? Who cares? You know what I'm saying? And that's is and everybody probably don't get that out of it, but I know I got it out of it. Like, and so what? And you know what I'm saying? And so one thing I wanted to also get into, okay, there's a purging aspect that when it comes down to this medicine, is that purging aspect a part of the healing? I mean, if you does it? Because I know even with the combo, they talk about that you purge because you also administer combo. You administer combo. You administer different types of medicine, not just only like ayahuasca. So with those medicines, let's even get into the other medicines that you also have worked with. Combo and ayahuasca, they both have a purging aspect to where you throw up and all this other stuff. What is that part of the medicine?
The prejudice part is to clean the body of the chemicals that are released from your trauma. For every time you have any kind of traumatic moments, chemicals are released. They're not released out of your poo, out of your pee, out of like your vomit. They get lodged in your physicality. Years of trauma can get stuck in you. They're chemicals. Let's not call it trauma. Let's just call it chemicals. Come out of the intellectual conversation that has a long story. Come out of the intellectual conversation that has a long paragraph. What happened? Come out of the intellectual conversation that has a long history of blame. He, she, this, all that. Then now all you have left is the chemicals. The initial blow of the trauma and what was the emotional chemical cocktail that's created gets lodged in you and creates diseases, creates a bunch of issues in your body over time, especially if you don't do anything about it. A broken heart not resolved creates a person that breaks hearts and also dies of a broken heart. Period.
Wow, heart
But
attacks. That's what they.
at the end of the day, that goes along for everything else. Anything not resolved will create something else. And that will create something else. And that will create something else. So let's say 10 years worth of chemicals inside of you that hasn't been resolved, they just keep creating a bunch of other things. This is law. This is nature and this is law. So we're not talking about the story. We're not talking about what happened to you because it happened to everybody. We're not talking about any of that. We're talking about just the part that the medicine really cares about. Then, at least the purgative size, it's like, wow, look at this. Wow, look at that. Wow, look at this. Let's get it out. Sometimes when it's coming out, you start to feel, see, hear, and experience or re-experience the energies connected to those stories, to that issue, to that problem, to that moment. Boom, you might see it, you might feel it, whatever. And the most important thing you could do is let it happen and not have resistance. Resistance is what created it in the first place. But this is some of the things that the medicine kind of like says to you clearly. You don't take that and create extra words around it. You don't try to make it bigger than it is. Allow those words to be so simple that it stays that way. You don't ever change it because that's all it's saying. Hey, there's a stuff in you that wasn't resolved. Let's take care of that. Don't worry, it's from the past. You don't need to be traumatized of seeing it again, which is most of our problems. We don't want to relive things because we don't want to feel it again. We don't want to go through it, but then we prevent it from truly being healed. So that part is really important as far as like working with the medicine, because depending on your story about who's against you, what's whatever, it's going to be the medicine. If your life is full of blame, it's going to be a journey to be able to get past that first, to be able to then receive and not feel like someone is always against you. Those are all these things that start to open up in the medicine. that allows you to understand the different layers of release. And oh, I'm just going to take the medicine, it's all going to happen. That's not how it goes. You got to meet you. You got to meet the you that you're honest with. You got to meet the you that you're not honest with. The you that you know, but you're just like, whatever. Like, I'm good. I'm good. No, you're not good. There's this. There's this shit you got to work on. Like, and start now. This is what the medicine says. If not, then, or it'll say, like you just like in your journey, you'll go, I know that you came because this, you think this is the problem. But let me show you that this shit started like 6 years ago when this happened and when that happened. And when you didn't do this, this happened. And when you didn't do that, this happened. So now it's like these 8 things that has created this new thing that you feel is the problem. But that's not the
And then
problem.
you'll suddenly feel a feeling like you gotta throw up all that stuff.
But that's the beauty of it
And
because
it's
there
a
it is.
spiral that happens. It's a spiral. Like it's like, and let me tell you,
Mhm.
also, have you ever heard of the duck that Dr. Sabi had people doing? Have you ever heard of that? The duck?
No.
It's called doing the duck. That's another purgatory. I think there's something connected to all these purgatory plants that connect that purge you out of like your illnesses, right? So they'll say, okay, the duck is about detoxing, right? And they'll just do it to physically detox. But in that purging, they end up like having like a purgatory experience that it's also a mental detox as well. Um, so the mind is so do you know so the first brain is in the gut, right? So is there a connection to like how your bowels are connected to the brain, and so therefore that's causing like that purgatory aspect too as well?
The it's the intelligence of the medicine. It goes into your system and it just pulls out what's not there. I mean, yes, there's the whole entire system is connected, but as far as what comes out in the purging part, the medicine's intelligence is what, because again, like if you were to look, um, you look at the bean and you can see what disharmony looks like, then that energy is what the medicine pulls out. Like let's say the bean fully clear is pink, and then like in different parts of the body you see brown spots. Those brown spots represent stories. The abortion you had, the first one, the second one, there's this other spot, the third one is in this spot. But the point is, it's all that energy of not actually really coming to completion, harmony with that. It's just there. And that eventually starts to run your life. But the point is that you've got to, like, when you clear that, there's a moment where once that comes out, like a bunch of space is open for you to actually get back into life. And that's the point. One of the things is to be able to like
I ha-
return back.
I have to admit, listen, when that came out, I have never since then had to deal with it again. It. I must say that this it works. It worked. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Now, in some instances, it might not for certain people because they're probably not trying to let go of that. But I was willing to let
Mhm.
go of it. You know what I'm saying? So it actually healed me in that aspect of that thought, and also my mother.
Mhm.
Also, it helped me so much. Like, and I think that's where it really why I am who I am right now. Like that experience, and I want to thank you, for that experience because it did help me a lot. Now I know I probably got to do some more work. You know what I'm saying? But
Mhm.
what is the difference between combo and the spirit of combo and the spirit of ayahuasca? Because
Well, that would have to be another talk because at this moment I have to go make some dinner for my daughter, and we're on the road right now. We're not home. We're in Florida. We had our music festival this past weekend, and we've been dropping in to integrate with spiritual family out here in Florida. And yeah, I've got to go and make her some food, and maybe we can reset and come back at another time. But this would be the moment for me to go and take care of her at this moment. Oh, I can't hear you anymore. You're.
no, I said I thank you for your
I think
time.
that.
This was a great build. I hope that people got from it.
Mhm. And we can have a part two for sure. I think you should
Oh,
definitely have a
definitely a
part two
part
where we
two.
continue.
Yeah,
But right
because
now,
like
I
I
thought
said,
that's
right
fair.
now we covered ayahuasca. The next one is going to be the combo, and I
Mm-hmm.
want to just get into the different medicines and what their focuses are. Because even with the
Mm-hmm.
ayahuasca, you said there were different types of plants, different colors, different plants focus on different things. So the bottom line is this: is that uh, where is this medicine that does all this? It's called ayahuasca. That's what he okay. The medicine is in Peru. He is what's the name again? It's a what's your
What's that?
what would be the name
Oh,
of
I
you
would be called like Onanya or just a
he's an Onanya.
medicine man. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. He's an Onanya medicine man who administers ayahuasca and various other plant medicines that heal in different ways. And even with
Mm-hmm.
me, when we did the ayahuasca ceremony afterwards, he was like saying, "Well, you probably should take this too." I just was afraid to take it. You know what I'm saying? Because I was like, "Oh, I'm scared." However,
Mm-hmm.
probably my next time I'm not gonna be so afraid. But I just really want to thank you for being here. We have also
Mm-hmm.
his name is he's a Haitian Bakur. This is Bokur Elmera, and after we leave this at 9, we're going to be doing an actual live with him, going
Oh,
into Haitian
beautiful.
food. But he also
Haitian
will.
what?
He's a Bokur.
Oh, nice.
Hey, how's it going? How are you? This is
Fabulous.
Bokur Elmera. He is actually a voodoo practitioner, voodoo priest.
Oh, beautiful.
Yes.
Beautiful. I've been
So
learning a lot about Haitian music every now and then. Mhm.
Well,
And
good
so
evening.
because you were here, I was like, I wanted to also discuss some of the plant medicines in Haitian tradition and how like they are
Mhm.
healing and this, that, the other. Um, so I was wanting to bring him up and maybe had y'all dialogue, but I know you have to go. But I'm gonna like take some time
Yeah,
with him
but
and
I would
maybe
love
when
to. Oh, oh, go ahead.
go
No, I
ahead.
was gonna say I would love to join with him again. Maybe we can intentionally do that together because that would be really beautiful. His energy looks really super dope. Like
Yeah,
just
Thank
for
really,
you.
sure.
yeah, it
Thank
looks
you.
really beautiful. But yeah, my daughter, like it's important. She has a lot of patience for me, and like it's important
Hey,
for me to
listen, my
honor that
daughter, she's been over here like, hey, mom, so I understand. So, but
girl. So yeah,
much,
that's
much,
important. So,
right, very important. Um, much love, but I wanted to introduce you guys to it, and I'm gonna like have a conversation with him right quick, and then we're gonna like
awesome.
take a break and then come back and really go into Haitian voodoo and that. But I wanted to discuss like the plant medicine as it deals with in Haiti. So thank
Yeah,
you so
that's
much.
gonna be a beautiful conversation. I'm looking forward to it.
Okay. All right.
Shout
Yes. How do you say have a good night in the language of Haiti?
Well, it's you can use the patois version Creole, or you can use French Français, which is bonne nuit.
Bon riz.
Bonne nuit, yes.
Bon riz. Okay. And what's the patois version?
You can pretty much say the same thing because it's like I would say bonsoir, but it's like the same thing because you can
Okay.
use
Okay.
like it's like Jamaican. It's like Jamaican patois in English. It's the same. It's pretty much the same thing. Sometimes you have
I got
different
you.
spelling.
Yeah. Yeah. I got you.
Yes,
Right. That's awesome.
yes, actually, Yawasi, he's from Guyana, so you guys have something in common, like when it comes down to being from like that Caribbean, South American, land. So I really wanted to like get into that, but I know he has to.
Hmm.
So we're gonna have to like
Some of
come again.
the most important parts of that is that we both like sauces.
Right, right, right,
You already know. You better have a good sauce. You better leave the kitchen, man.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
Right,
really nice to meet you, sir. And I really, like I said, you got a beautiful smile and your energy. So I'm looking forward to that moment where we do get to connect and share together.
Right.
for
Thank you.
sure, for sure. And listen, I want to thank you for being a part of Alchemizing Energy. This was a great interview. I hope that my audience got to like get a lot out of what you said. I mean, you dropped a lot of
Mhm.
gems. I mean, quotable. So we're gonna bring you back. We're gonna bring Bokora back too, and we're gonna put that thing together where you guys both share ideas. So
Yes.
that's gonna be awesome.
All right,
All right.
blessings. Have a beautiful night then.
Much love, much love.
All right, yes, peace.
Peace. All righty, all righty. How are you? How have you been? How have you been?
I've been doing great, fabulous.
So we've been talking about the plant minute. I'm not sure how much you've seen. Did you see any of it?
I've watched it. I watched a bit of it. I was in and out. Yeah.
Okay, so what
I,
was what's your thoughts on like the idea of the plant medicine and how is it similar?
are we starting it now, or are we going to
No,
start at
no,
10?
no, 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 no. This is just about the plant medicine. We're not going to get into the because your thing don't start till 9. So I'm just going to ask about the plant
Oh,
medicine aspect, and then we're going to take a
9.
break.
You're 9 then. Because right now it's
It's
9
8. It's
o'clock
gonna
for
be
me.
it's gonna be 8 o'clock. You know what? We could just continue, but I want it to be.
I mean,
I,
everybody's expecting 10 p.m. to come in. That's what I
yeah,
told
yeah,
everyone.
yeah, yeah. So I
Eastern
wanted
Standard
to get
Time.
like a quick like thing about Haitian when it comes down to the plant medicine. The conversation with us is gonna be completely different at 9 p.m. Central, 10 p.m. Eastern time.
Right.
But I brought you here to give some insight on when it comes down to voodoo and their plant medicines and
Well,
like the similarities
we,
and how those practice.
I would say Medicine Fay. What is Medicine Fay? Medicine Fay is what they say medicine of the leaves, right? There is various types of plants that people use for healing. I would say when it comes to that, I would say that is the job of a Wugan, right? A Wugan is a voodoo priest. This is the opposite side of a Boko, right? Now the Wugan has his healing plants for different types of illness, where the Boko, let's just say, he does the exact opposite, right? So, what do you want me to speak of in regards to healing? I mean,
Well,
what?
you know what? I wanted to at least give people a precursor to what we're going to be talking about in an hour from now and get people
Right.
ready to come back. It's Saturday night, y'all. I know if you ain't got nothing to do, I really want this is gonna be a very powerful interview with the Bokor. And I really want to get people like hyped up for this next interview that's about to come up in like an hour from now. So how do we like precursor people to say, okay, I'm gonna come back, let's get into it real quick.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'll say this: as far as medicine, there's medicines for natural illness, then there's medicine for supernatural illness or things that are caused by, let's just say, mystical means. See, I would definitely say the terrain here in America, this would kind of be something that people look at as being superstitious. But when we talk about illnesses, there's illnesses that are human that just are natural, that just are natural circumstance of life. Some people, I mean, we can attribute that to eating improperly, eating the wrong things. And then again, there's illnesses that can be caused by people doing certain things that cause those things. And that can fall under witchcraft, but again, this can also fall into science as well, because some of these things that they're utilizing, some of these plants that are utilizing or whatever things that are utilizing, they are considered actual poisons in science, right? So you have one person that's doing the healing and another person that's doing the opposite, So yeah, in regards to voodoo, that's pretty much what it's there for. Medicine Fay is usually a healer, right? The healer helps people get better. And then you got the other side, which helps people to get worse. So eventually it balances out.
So when it really comes down to so you have like the spiritualities that come out of like Peru. That's what the shaman he's from.
Listen. Yeah, there is. I mean, what they call a shaman, what they call a shaman in voodoo would be a wugan, a voodoo priest, because the voodoo priest or the mombo, right? That's one thing I want to do. I don't want to just talk about wugan all the time. There is the mombo, which is the voodoo priestess, and she plays a very significant role in the religion of voodoo. There is no, well, the man is higher than the woman, and he has to know it's a balanced, equal level. You know, the Mombo and the Wuga, most of the time, they are responsible for healing and, you know, things of that nature, right?
So that's what we're going to be talking about, you guys. So it's 8:00, you guys, and at 9:00, I want you to come back here to get ready to hear this young man speak. We're going to be talking about medicine, and we're going to be talking about just voodoo and whether it is a religious practice or is it witchcraft. So the difference between witchcraft and spirituality and religion. So, but I definitely wanted to bring you in toward the tail end of this interview because all of these tribe-based religions, all these original, what I would say, religions from antiquity, have some aspect of healing when it comes down to plant medicine. Now, certain tribes might focus more on mental health, and they might use the plant to, okay, well, if you heal the mental, you'll heal the body, right? Versus where voodoo would say, if you heal the ether, you heal the person. I'm not sure. Is it the same thing, or is it more like you heal the body? You can heal the mind. You can heal, or you know, is there might be a difference?
It's different. It's like there's treatment for their body and there's treatment for the spirit. You know, of course, we know that everything originates in the spirit and can come into the flesh. Indeed, you know, that all depends on what the situation is, because you have natural illnesses and you have supernatural illnesses. The supernatural, now, if you take care of that, you can eliminate the problem that will become physical. Because yes, when someone is suffering spiritually from whatever source it comes from, it's going to eventually manifest physically.
So that's what we're going to get into. It's going to be a very, very good conversation. You know, have you been restless at night? You know what I'm saying? Some of these things might just not only be a thing, a manifestation of the inside, but so with the he said what the name is of what they call themselves in his practice. I forget what it was. I'm sorry. But he was saying that, you know, even when you think that someone's doing work on you, it's really you doing the work because of your mind saying that.
The shaman, right?
Yes. Well, yeah.
I would definitely defer with, I would say, when it comes to some of the things he say, I would definitely say that we defer in our beliefs in numerous points of things that he said. You know, yeah, I would definitely say we definitely defer. It's not a thing of you just thinking. That is true. There's maldition or madichon, which is basically speaking things into existence and they occur. But that is outside of sorcery. You know, yes, you can speak things into existence. True. I mean, it can fall into there slightly as a tool of one of the things in the world of sorcery. But to say that is completely, let's just say,
all on you,
like that all the way, no, it doesn't always work
like
that.
For instance, if I feel that someone, so let me just say this: if someone maybe uses a herb or even speaks a certain thing against me, and I don't believe it, does that mean it doesn't work?
I mean, to be honest with you, let me just put like this. Someone in my field, in my profession, would actually think that's better for you. I mean, better for them. Because the thing is, if you don't believe it, you're going to think that everything that's happening to you is a natural part of life.
Oh, and wow.
You'll think that everything going on, oh, this is supposed to happen. That's what's supposed to happen. Okay, that's just normal. That's life. Okay, that's what it is. Okay, yeah, there's no such thing as witchcraft. And behind the scenes, people are just laughing at you. You know what I'm saying? So I mean,
so here we go. So listen, this interview is about to start in an hour. So y'all take an hour, take a break, and that is going to be the beginning of our interview where we start to discuss these things.
Okay.
Thank you guys, and shouts out to our brother Yawoso and Yawaso. Thank you for being on the panel, and also we look forward to hearing from you. Uh, sorry, Bokura. All right, so talk to you soon.
Okay.
Alchemize your energy. Darling, let your spirit be free. Don't give up, keep on pushing through. Now is the time, it's all up to you. Alchemize your energy, my friend. Let your spirit be free. Don't give up, keep on pushing through. Now is the time, it's all up to you. No matter the storm, but over tragedy. No matter the storm, but over tragedy. No matter the storm, we will always take flight. Keep on pushing through the darkness of night. There's no limit, let's reach for the sky. Shine so bright, from darkness to light.